mistakes forgiven.
The astronauts are under no illusion. They're in a risky business. However, let's face it, things can go terribly, terribly wrong. We've seen that in the space business before. We'll probably see it again. Hopefully not on the first trip to Mars.
Backup system! Switching to backup systems! Backup system found a landing spot, Captain. We're good to go! Bring it down! Look at that! Engaging!
Billions of people across the globe will be glued to their TV sets and radios, waiting for news from the crew. Did they survive the 6 minutes of terror? Did they crash and burn?
You know, the signals of what you're doing are being beamed out, and in 11 and a half minutes from now, they'll actually get to Earth. So the people on Earth don't even know how well things are going until 11 minutes later. So you're very alone.
Outside the hatch, a very hostile planet awaits. One that humans were not made to live on, and without the right protection, will definitely die on. Mars is more barren than the driest desert on Earth. Its atmosphere is carbon dioxide, poison to human lungs. The daytime temperature at the equator may reach a balmy 20 degrees Celsius, but at night it can plummet to minus 100. Then there's the chill factor. Cyclonic winds whip up huge electrical storms that scour the terrain for months on end.
When we go to Mars, we will have drawn that line, connected those dots, and we will have changed the way people are.
That great experience of discovery, that great realization that we've now added to the human knowledge about the surface of Mars, you know, that's an incredibly powerful moment.
The astronauts won't have much time to savor it. They must get to the habitat that was sent to Mars ahead of the mission. This 40-ton ship will be the crew's home away from home for the next 18 months. With the space of a small 2-bedroom apartment, the crew of 6 will work, eat, and sleep in these cramped quarters. But the crew hasn't come to Mars for the accommodations. They're here to find signs of life. And that means exploring a place that's doing its best to kill them. On top of the poisonous atmosphere and the deadly storms, there's the lethal radiation. During solar storms, the sun can send out waves of it that reach Mars in less than 20 minutes. Radiation so intense, it will punch through a spacesuit or the wall of a hab like bullets going through paper.
It does amazing damage to the top surface layers of your skin. And if you get subjected to it often enough, of course, the penetration to more sensitive organs in your body increases.
The Mars HAB will be insulated by radiation-absorbing materials, including a thick polyethylene layer in the walls and tons of water that will have been lugged all the way from Earth. The crew will be safe while they're inside the HAB, but exploring and working on Mars will be a journey of deadly extremes. One piece of equipment will make the difference between life and death. Every time the astronauts step out of the Mars HAB, they'll be facing death. Only the desperately thin layer of their spacesuits is protecting them from this hostile environment. Nobody has worked on a walking spacesuit since Apollo, but now space engineers are taking up the Mars challenge. Once a year, near Meteor Crater, Arizona, Joe Cosmo, one of NASA's most experienced spacesuit designers, conducts extensive field tests.
Essentially, what we're trying to do is demonstrating the technologies and the systems that are going to be necessary for planetary exploration.
Today, the team will be testing one of the most advanced Mars prototype spacesuits. It's the Mark III, a highly complex machine with 20,000 parts, twice as many as most cars. It costs around $10 million. Think of it as a one-man wearable spaceship propelled by muscle power.
You want to give the crew person that's going to be on that surface the greatest mobility that he has.
The key to the suit's mobility is a series of joints rotating on ball bearings.
So if you're trying to go from one place here to here, and you've got lots of different joints, you've got a side bearing, an upper arm bearing, and a wrist bearing, you don't have to follow one path and remember that path all the time. You can go wherever you decide you want to, from point A to point B.
Geologist Dean Epler has spent more than 100 hours testing the Mark III suit. It's designed to be user-friendly with an ingenious rear entry system. The backpack opens like a refrigerator door, and the astronaut simply eases himself into a fully assembled suit. The suit must be perfectly sealed and then pressurized, creating a layer of artificial atmosphere around the wearer. The suit also needs a tough skin. In Mars' vacuum-like environment, if a large rip occurs, the air inside could be sucked out so violently, the astronaut's lungs would burst like exploding balloons. At Meteor Crater, the suit pressurization check is complete and Dean can start the trials.
Okay, proceed to test point 1, please.
Roger.
Mobility is excellent, but there's a price. The suit has a weight problem. With all those metallic bearings, it's a hefty 95 kilograms. That's like walking around with a full-grown man on your back. On Mars, thanks to the lower gravity, the suit will feel like it weighs only 35 kilograms. But that's still too much to expect an astronaut to carry around all day.
In the soil. This is probably a good place to do a...
Joe Cosmo and his team will have to cut the suit's weight by half or more, and that's a tall order.
See how far down we can get.